Act 2. Are we ready?
Do it.
Let's go.
Now we have Kathy Bates. Nothing special is going to happen other than the fact that Kathy Bates has found out that Misery has died of what is it? What is it called? A miscarriage.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say a failed pregnancy, but then I was like, no, there's a name for that. A miscarriage. The way that she talks about losing this character, it's like Paul had basically killed someone that she knew. What is it about the change in that character that makes it so creepy? It's because I think it's the deadness in her eyes. Did you notice that she basically doesn't blink throughout the whole entire film?
I wouldn't say the whole film, but maybe. Now you're fucking saying it. It does seem
It's
like
just
she
like
doesn't.
that dead stare.
Yeah, but like she progressively, as I said, the build to it is fucking crazy. When you say dead, there is nothing there. There's absolutely fucking nothing there. So you think that like that's a pure sign of a fucking psychopath. And then what kills me, she comes back. It obviously shows the whole bipolar thing. But the next scene, then she comes in and she's like, "What happens? She, you dirty birdie. You kill her or something, is it?"
You dirty birdie.
Yeah.
You dirty. I was like,
But she,
that's
like,
even creepy. Why is she
goes-
saying it like that?
Fucking because she's a bit stupid.
But you find out later she's actually like an evil fucking mental woman. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't get to be the head
Exactly.
nurse or the head matron in a hospital by being stupid. It's just like the innocent words she uses are actually super creepy. Like it's like like a 4-year-old child using swear words. There's something weird about it. It's like a fully grown woman using like "you dirty birdie," like being genuinely angry. You're like, oh, there's something wrong about that. You should tell me to fuck off. I would rather that. It feels a little bit more natural.
But that what makes her fucking more weird because she's like talking like that. The cockamamie, he didn't get out of the cockamamie car.
That was it. Yeah, it was like, and then the next week. So she explains that she went to, like, when she was younger, she goes to these episodes in, and I was actually, I thought it was like, oh, she's a movie reviewer too. It was, so she goes to these episodic flicks of, I guess, what did she call it? Rocket Man. And, and the week before, the car blew up. And then they come back and there's like, what happened last week? And then he jumps out of the car and she fucking loses her shit.
Everybody
the cockadoodie! Everybody knew he didn't get out of the cockadoodie car. Like, ugh.
Yeah, fucking lunatic. But she built the chair off the wall and everything, and fucking Jesus Christ. Like, but it showed then, like, but they've been shown through this whole I suppose on his part, they were trying to build up about how unable to do anything he was. Like, obviously, he just had to fucking lie there and like take all his abuse and take fucking everything he was doing with the lighter or the fucking lighter fluid and the piss bottle. But like when she comes in, then she could literally do anything to him.
Yeah, so like up until that point, you're basically seeing that she has full control with the blade and the piss bottle and the soup. Like he hasn't been like able to even go, whoa, stop it. You know, he's just been sitting there going, oh God, I really don't feel comfortable in this position at all. She leaves and says, I die, you die.
Yeah.
We didn't explain throughout this is like, he's been asking her, oh, when can I go to the hospital? Why wasn't I brought to the hospital? The phones were down. The roads are blocked. And then when the roads aren't blocked, the roads are blocked to the hospital. And the ambulance isn't able to come.
But she blatantly tells him then, don't bother trying to do that because I didn't call anybody. There's no one looking for you.
Basically, like, I didn't call anybody. Like, throughout the whole entire thing, she's like, oh, I called your agent. And she's fine. And
I like the fact that she just blatantly put it out there because he realizes now, like up to now, he's like, she's not normal. She's a bit fucking weird. But up to that point, I think at that point, it's a pinnacle point in the movie that he's like, she's fucking nuts. She's here to, I don't know if she says he thinks that she's here to kill him, but he knows now there's no fucking, there's something wrong here. Like, I think up to that point, he was like thinking that she's a bit crazy, like, ha ha ha, crazy, something a bit depressed or whatever, but now he knows she's fucking psychotic.
Yeah, haha crazy, not la la crazy.
Yeah, but like, even with the whole thing of her running in and hitting the chair off the fucking wall and stuff, and her shouting. But up to that point, I think, where she says to him now, I haven't called anyone. No one's coming for you. Like that, there's a line there. And she jumped over. He knows that she's after crossing that fucking line. He knows that he's not getting fucking out of there.
Well, this is the kind of spurring on moment that needs him to trying to get out of the house at this point. He's like, okay, now I need to leave. All the rest of the craziness I could deal with, but now I need to be gone out of this house quick. We get to him basically trying to get out of the bed, which is a bad idea because he has 2 broken legs and that's never going to work. The legs themselves are obviously like, what are they? Practical effects, like rubber legs or something like that. They're not his feet.
They are his feet, yeah.
They're not his feet. There's no way they're his feet. Derry!
I actually genuinely don't know. Sorry.
I'm telling you.
They're not. They cannot be his feet because they don't move. Like, all the toes are fused together. I was like, that's absolute makeup, like rubbery legs or whatever. Because if you think about it, see where...
And I'm not talking about when he's there. Like, I'm talking about what you're showing me there. You know he has his legs hanging out of bed. Like, when he's getting out of bed himself. That's what I'm talking about, like, maybe not the whole time, but like when you see James Caan, like, there, that's all him. That's all his legs.
No way, that's not his legs. Like, his legs are like from the knees down. It's absolutely like rubber legs. Like, look at that, because he's like dragging him around. Let me get to the bit where he's dragging him around. Oh, he's coming. So he lands him on the ground. They're fake. Look at those. That's fake legs. Those are fake legs.
I don't think so.
Where are his legs?
So what I think is happening is that, see where the knees are covered and there's like splints down the sides? I think his feet are in like Wellington boots that have the outside looking all fucked up and bruised.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because look, like because they're huge. They're huge. And obviously it's because they're swollen, but they're like rubber feet, effectively.
I don't know about that part, but there were gelatin legs that were up to his knees.
Gelatin legs. Ah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Gelatin.
Yeah.
I'm just going to agree to disagree and drink.
I mean, are we going to argue with IMDb or?
No, I'm not arguing. I haven't even checked IMDb. I was just watching the film and I was like, those aren't his real legs. Don't try and convince me they are. We then have Paul discovering that the newspapers are looking for him. Everybody's looking for him. Thank God. And then we have the sheriff getting calls. I think he's trying to call around at this point. Is that right?
Oh, he's making a few phone calls. Yeah, he's making a few phone calls to see does anyone know anything.
And then we get to find out that he didn't really get back to bed that night after he tried to climb out of the bed unsuccessfully, trying to open a locked door. He does that a lot. Like, I think he does that twice throughout like in the kitchen as well. He tries to get out the door and it's like, oh no, that's locked as well.
But the tricky says, when he tries to open the front door, of course.
Of course. So she huffs him back into bed and then she brings in the like a barbecue, effectively, with the script on it, or with the novel on it, and she's asking him to burn it.
So this again is a bit where she has the lighter fluid, and she's like spill it on the fucking bed, and I'm like,
no, she don't. Well, she doesn't spill it on the bed just yet. She's basically encouraging him to finish off his book, or else then she'll go ahead and start burning him as well, like spraying the lighter fluid on the end of the bed and stuff like that.
So it's either like you burn the book or I'll fucking burn you.
It's like old school matches as well, where you can flick them like that.
But then again, does that not show again your point, Jamie, that she really doesn't give a fuck about him because she's willing to burn him alive if he doesn't.
No, she doesn't. So she wants him to write a new book because later on in the film, she says she's been trying to practice writing because she loved Paul Sheldon so much. And her idea, because God told her, was to write a book like Paul Sheldon and give it to the world. So I was thinking, okay, her whole point of this...
Do you not think that was a cover for her, like fucking?
It's both a cover and also a way of her maybe getting him to write books for her so that she can become famous.
Oh, nice.
That's what I was thinking. She was like, okay, because she killed babies in a hospital, and she doesn't seem like a person. Like, I think she killed her husband as well. I think you get that in the newspaper.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to make our own assumptions there, but I think we all know she did.
So if Paul Sheldon effectively kills off Misery, she has no way of continuing on the money boat of Misery. So she wants him to write a new book and then just continue on writing those books like she had written them effectively and give it off like she's a kind of a ghostwriter effectively for Paul Sheldon or whatever. That's the feeling I got. And especially with the burning of a book, like, oh my God, imagine writing all that whole entire book and then some stupid bint comes along and asks you to burn it.
That was only because I've written. Now I can't imagine. I would have never known about this until I wrote something. But like, I can't imagine writing something and only having one copy of it, and someone fucking makes you burn it. My heart went out to that. Even though I know.
Back up your shit. Back up your shit.
It meant something else to me, man. I was like, holy shit.
Like you need to take a copy of everything you have. I'm scared of even having stuff on Google Drive. I have like stuff on Google Drive. I have like a copy of that on an external hard drive. I have like a copy of that on my computer.
I write all my stuff out. Well, I write it out of hand to paper first, pencil to paper, pen to paper, and then so I always have a copy. And then what I do is I type it out, and I can change and chop what I want, or maybe cut out a few thousand pages, as Darren will know.
Well, I got carpal tunnel a lot, so I can't properly write, for long periods of time. I used to do that when I was younger, but I'm just an old man with arthritis.
Just old now, dude.
Such an old person. She burns the books, and then we get the so she's burning the book.
That was a really good bit of acting where he says, you can see in his face, like, look, no bother. My publisher has loads of copies. Like, don't worry about it. And she keeps saying, so you've said. So like the match, Paul. He's like,
so then it's no problem.
Acting on his, like, as you said, on their faces. They don't even need to say it. And you can see in his eyes, he's like, please don't burn my book. I don't want to.
Please don't do this. I lied really well. I took a straight face and everything.
You can feel the months of work. That's what he's thinking of. Like,
the
effort that's gone into it.
It's
like, I hope I remember everything I wrote.
This one was like this is what he wanted to write. He didn't write this for awards. He wrote this for himself.
Yeah.
So imagine fucking burning. Oh God.
So she, the whole thing starts burning up, and she's like, "Oh goodness! Oh goodness!" It's like trying to stamp out the flames and like everything lighting on fire. Oh goodness! It's like you're lighting a fucking barbecue inside, you dope. Yeah, it's gonna light your curtains on fire. He decides escape is probably not going to be the easiest at this point, so he's going to hide away some of the pills, and for the purposes of, I guess at this point, trying to poison Kathy Bates unfruitfully. And again, another introduction of this kind of anxiety that the film is bringing on. It's setting up this kind of long-standing story part where you're like, okay, something's happening in the background here, and I'm kind of waiting for the payoff effectively. And then Kathy Bates is upstairs watching TV what is it, like Blind Date or something?
Love Connection.
Love Connection. So he hides the pills in the mattress, and then the next day, or maybe a few days later, she has brought a wheelchair for him to wheel himself around effectively, which is nice.
I love how narky he gets at this point. Like, yeah, I've always wanted to visit the other side of the room.
She drops a bobby pin, and then he goes to pick up the bobby pin. She wants it. She's setting up basically a desk and everything for him. Got him a typewriter, got him paper, got him the whole works effectively.
It's missing an N. I was like,
it's missing an N.
Yeah, she got a good price because it's missing an N. I was like, because there's a line where she says, I can fill in the ends, and I must have misheard that the whole time. But I was like, fill in the ends. Like, I thought it was like the end of the line. I was like, how the fuck would she know to fill in the end of the line? It's an N. I was like, oh, you fucking idiot, Darren.
The letter N. He's like, okay, I want you to be a part of the process so much, but it's the wrong paper. It smudges. The paper smudges. The ink smudges on the paper. I can't use this paper. This is peasant paper. She has a little bit of a flip out moment then. It's like, I do everything for you. I go and get the paper. Oh, do you want anything else while I'm out? So she like starts becoming this like abusive wife in this situation effectively.
But again, this just shows, I don't think I've never seen a more perfect version of fucking someone bipolar. Like, the fact that she switches, but it's so believable.
And I don't even think there's any music switches in this either. I think it really is just like the camera might change a little bit. It's her face mainly.
But you can see where she's getting frustrated because when he shows her, he improves to her that it smudges, and you can see that you can see the build of her getting annoyed, and then she just fucking lets it out and on him like.
He picks up the bobby pin and tries to pick lock the door. And again, I think, it's been a while since I've seen this. I was like, that's not going to fucking work. Don't tell me that works. And then he believes, he's like, oh, it actually worked. I was like, okay, you get that movie. You doubted your own self.
Legs to the book or something, or the paper. Does she whack him in the legs? Or is the ball she hits him in or something?
No, she basically drops all the paper on his legs. Yeah. She's angry.
Again, she's a fucking lunatic.
He unlocks the door with the bobby pin and sneaks out into the hallway. And you're saying this is like in a theater, effectively. It's like a revolving stage where you could probably go from one side to the other.
This is just the most... Look, I recommend, lads, when you get off this, just for a few seconds, just go on to look right in Misery Broadway set design. Your man will show, it's a little model, but they obviously show it on stage, they obviously show how it works. But it's the most perfect fucking set. And the way they do it, man, it's like, he's the way your man described it, it's like the people were looking at a TV screen, like the camera angles, and it's just one continuous movement. So he goes through the door, continues on going. It's fucking brilliant. It looks amazing. Obviously, that's not the version I saw with Bruce Willis on it. But
did they film that? Did they have that on film?
Well, someone obviously filmed it on Broadway. They weren't supposed to. The one I saw is they have.
Oh right, it's like a dodgy one in the background, like.
Yeah. No, on their phone, obviously. But the one I saw was the stage is split into two. So like it was basically on stage, in the middle of the stage. It was like two rooms. So essentially it was like a big crack down the two fucking rooms, explained it. The bedroom and then the kitchen. And that was it. But it was really, really well done. It was fantastic. And they have two doors at the back so they could go out one and come back in the other. So it was really fucking cool. But just as a stage play, you don't have to have anything but two rooms. You can do it all in one room, but it's fantastic. It's fucking brilliant.
Well, I like the way this is kind of its own bit on its own effectively. When he starts going around the rooms, and I love the way he spots the telephone. He's like, oh, brilliant! He goes over, and there's nothing in there. The inside of the phone has been taken out effectively. It's like, why does she have a phone? Crazy bitch. Why does she have a phone with nothing in there? Like, is she trying to double bluff. It's like, if he escapes, I'll bet the first thing that he sees is that phone. I'll take out the stuff in the phone.
This was actually a question that was asked later on, as in like, oh, this is a loophole, so answer this question. And it was asked of Rob Reiner or whoever. And they basically said, oh, she's just a crazy bitch. Okay. That's literally what they said.
She's just mental, that's it, okay.
But you see it on the road. That's when the sheriff goes to her house, because she just had screaming at your man. It was her. She was in the wrong on the road, and she's at screaming at your fucking guy. Yeah, cock a fucking mania, you lunatic. And your man's
Get
like,
out of here!
what the fuck is... Yeah. So your man just obviously the sheriff sees her doing that, and he fucking follows her.
When he's going around the house, he accidentally tips off of a little penguin. And
every time I see that, I was like, oh, I know what's happening. And I know, I'm like, oh my God, thank God he got that. And then every single time, I'm like, why did you not just put it back properly? And I'm like, because it's in the fucking script, Darren, shut up.
No, but even when he took the pills from the top shelf, he made sure to pull the top one back so that they were acted the same way. And I'm like, why couldn't you have done that with the penguin?
But that's like, I don't even think the audience at that time, again, I think it's like at a time when movies, you didn't question it that much. You were like, oh no, they're obviously going to notice the penguin. I think they put that in the film to make you think, oh, he nearly dropped it, not why didn't he put it back in the right position? Because thinking that is a little bit crazy. So I think people nowadays, when they're watching films, are a little bit crazy because they're looking for every possible flaw. I don't want to be surprised. I'm one step ahead of you, film. But back in the olden days of the 90s, it's probably, oh, thank God he caught it. Because later on, she basically, it's not even the next time she sees him. It's later on in the movie. She's like, I know you've been outside because of this, this, and this. So those are the moments that I was saying that they're kind of anxiety causing, but long standing. You've kind of forgotten about the moment that's happened. Until it's already there. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. You're like,
that's the kind of horror aspect. Yeah. He's gotten away with that. But no, he has not. Kathy Bates sees all.
He knows.
So he sees the shrine of Paul Sheldon there. And again, it's a fairly... how many pictures are there? 4 pictures and a load of books. Yeah. And it's... I don't know whether they wanted it. Here's the 2 ways that I think that they could have taken it. She has clippings of his hair, and there's a doll made out of his used tissues. That kind of psycho.
Yeah. No, I think they did the realistic way, because most fucking fans now are like that. I think it would lose the impact. I know she's a fucking psychotic bitch, but this kind of shows that she's just a fan, as we all fucking think. She doesn't want to kill him just yet.
Yeah, I don't think the killing aspect has really come to it. I think the I'll hurt you aspect is there, basically.
I can hurt you, yeah.
I don't want to kill you, you're staying here forever kind of a thing. But again, I don't get she's a raving mental lunatic for him and his work. I think she just comes off as a raging mental lunatic that happens to be interested in this person. The shrine doesn't come off as I idolize you, Paul. It's just a part of her overall, the phone was, or the penguin was. The whole house is just filled with just bits of her being mental.
Yeah, but is it not because obviously she was in fucking jail and stuff, so she obviously has no reason to ring anyone. So she obviously is trying to hide away from. But then again, the sheriff does say that's the old Wilkes farm, so everyone knows that she's there. Clearly.
Well, the husband does he see? Oh no, he sees so this is the first time he gets out. And he sees the book of Memory Lane, but he never gets to see what's in there just yet.
Okay.
And that's all of the evidence about her baby killings and stuff.
Baby killing stuff, yeah.
So he hears the car coming back effectively, and I'm going back to the wrong one. So here's the back. Yeah, he goes in, steals some of the pills, gets a bunch of them, and here's the car coming back. He tries to escape through the kitchen, which doesn't go very well. Like, what I probably would have done is, if I was in his position, of course, is try and get out of the chair, but then get the chair back again, and then in the kitchen. You know? Wouldn't that make more sense instead of dragging yourself along the ground? Like, because the wheelchairs go like this, right? Like they do this. So if you just went and then brought it through and then got into it and then just wheeled yourself over to the door.
You're thinking too much about it now.
Yeah.
Darren, we're episode 7 in. This is what I do. Just saying. Well, so, because he now he's to drag himself all the way back over again. If he just had the wheelchair, he'd be like, oh shit, and I'll wheel myself back.
But he wouldn't have had the power to close it anyway because he'd be on the floor.
No, but like he's like able to like maybe.
If we're going to go that route, there's windows there, so like he could have brought, like Jamie said, he could have brought the wheelchair in. Hopped up. If you want to get out of that bad, I
didn't even think that, Darren. He could have gotten out of the wheelchair onto the table and then rolled out the window onto the snow and died of hypothermia.
He didn't want it bad enough, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, what I'm saying is that even if he got outside, he would have been dead in 10 minutes probably because he was so cold out there.
Get the fuck away, yeah, exactly. How's he going to get out? Like,
okay, I'm finally out. I still have 2 broken legs and nowhere to go. I'm like, oh,
slither trail in the snow, and she's just like racing after him.
She's like, oh, there's like a slithery pole around.
I wonder what this could be. She's like strolling up, following him as he drags himself through the woods. That would have been a great scene, actually.
She arrives with the paper, and it's all very anxiety-causing altogether. He's closing the door. There's a key in the door. He's the bobby pin. He relocks the door with the bobby pin, which is impressive because
that's fair play to him. Now he taught to fucking lock it. I was like, Jesus Christ,
right? I think you're starting to stretch that ability a little bit too much now at this point, though. But I'm going with you, film.
Because when they're talking about the language in the books, he does say he grew up in the slums or something.
Yeah, I was a slum kid.
Yeah, but
good background.
I don't even think I don't even think you're able to do that with a bobby pin. Can you actually pick lock with a bobby pin? Let me think.
You can.
Pick a lock with a bobby pin. Starting by pulling the. Yes, you can, but not the way he did it. Whatever. So he does it twice, 3 times, maybe 4 times. But this time he doesn't get caught. He's sitting there in the wheelchair, absolutely sweating balls. And she's like, you're sweating. I got you the paper, but like, what's happened to you? He's like, I need my pills. I need my pills. And she's like, okay, well, let's get you into bed then. He's like, no, I need, please help me. I'm in pain. And it's like, oh, you smart bastard. You're like, okay, exploit her a little bit. I see what you're doing.
Again, that's superb acting. I thought it was fucking great acting on his part. It breaks my heart to see you like this. I'm like, that's fucking great acting. The whole movie's brilliant acting.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they condensed it down into, in my mind, 4 characters, really. I don't really care about anybody else in the film. And the 4th character out of all of them is the sheriff's wife, who is basically not even a real character. You know, she didn't, technically, the only reason she's in there is for you to be like, at the end, when he dies, you're like, no, the wife, the horny wife, how's she going to get her kicks off now? Whose legs is she going to be feeling up in the bus stop? It's like, ma'am, can you stop? It's like, my husband was the sheriff, you know.
That's a good point, actually. I think a death in a movie hits you harder when you know that there's somebody that loves the person. Yeah.
And it, like, a really lovely, innocent love, kind of, well, maybe not in her mind, dirty bitch.
That's fine.
When we move on to the next bit, he's been hiding all these pills. He puts him into bed and gives him a notepad. Hey, you can write on this. Oh, I clearly have plenty to write about. I'm so invigorated for writing. A helicopter comes along, finds the car. So they find the car in the snow, And then the police are like, yeah, he's probably long dead anyway. So we had a look around for his body, couldn't find it.
There's a chance that the animals got to it. There's a good chance.
That news conference was like, what? It was so crass and so blunt, and it's like, oh my god, like his daughter is probably watching this. It's like,
yeah, I was thinking that as well. Yeah, he's probably long dead, and it's just a matter of time before we find his long, cold, rotting corpse.
We'll get a better chance of we'll have a better chance of finding him when we have her first thaw
in the spring. We see the sheriff and the wife, and they're having a chat, and he's like, there's something not right. I don't think he's dead, basically. I still want to have a look for him. So we then get Act 3.